Hey everybody, and welcome back. It is Nagy on Sports. Phil Nagy, joined as always by my cousin Kit. We are so excited to be bringing you this video. The real Browns are doing way better than the Sim Browns, which is very exciting. We are 4-1, people. There is real meaningful football being played here in the middle of October, and we're not already talking about which draft pick do you like in the top three, which is so exciting. So, big test, of course, going into Pittsburgh. Let's start it off. Offensive keys to the game, Kit.
So for the offense, first of all, I think we need to maintain balance of the run and the pass. I think that's key here because, in particular, we don't want to be too predictable, and I think that's going to lead into some of our other keys here that we're going to get into. But maintaining that balance is going to be really important for our offense this week. Secondly, we need to have Baker hitting those open reads. He needs to take what the defense gives to him, and making sure that because we've schemed up really good games before, and he's missed some pretty open reads, trying to take shots maybe for some harder throws, even some of the successful ones, some of the harder throws where there's guys that are easy completions that with a little bit more reading what the defense is given to you potentially can help us out. And then and that's going to be important in this game because this defense, we will have opportunities to hit some of those guys. We need to take advantage of them and not forcing passes where we don't need them. And then the last key here is something that I think we've been working on and still have yet to really see, but I think we really need to get this for this game in particular. We need to find a way to finish them. We've managed to close out games with wins so far, but this is going to be our first test where if we don't, we potentially could give the game away because they've got that ability to finish the game. So we've got to prove that we can do that.
For sure. Yeah, especially in that Dallas game, it was like, we've dominated. Why can't we just finish? That's definitely a new skill that's learned for a football team that's growing and getting better. So obviously our defense continues to be a conversation, getting better at places. Man, they turned the ball over well, which is good, which kind of helps make up for a lot of the chunk plays and yards that we are giving up. We're going to have Sendejo, we're going to have Redwine, we're going to have Benton and Moffitt back. I mean, we're pretty thin in some places. What is the defensive keys to victory for the Browns?
Well, you kind of hit it there. We are weak in the secondary for a lot of reasons. That means our defensive line really has to pick up the slack here, give our secondary some opportunities to really come up with big plays. So that's going to start with the first key being hit Big Ben early and often. Collapse that pocket, make him move, make him uncomfortable, force those bad throws. Secondly, we need to remove Claypool from the game plan. He's really, we saw that last week against the Eagles. He was all over the field, 4 touchdowns. He was dynamic. He's big. He's a very good receiver. And in fact, if you watched Stefanski's conference recently, he was talking about Claypool and how they had scouted him and how they knew he was going to be a real player. Not somebody that they picked up, but certainly not somebody you want to see to be going up against. So if we could take them out of their game plan, that really is going to help us out because they have other playmakers, but none quite so dynamic as Claypool has turned out to be for them. And then the last piece is really find those turnovers. There's going to be opportunities, especially if we're getting to Big Ben. If we can find those turnovers, force the turnovers for either stripping the ball, the strip sack, those forced fumbles, and also the interceptions. I think we're going to have opportunities. I think we need to find those and turn them into the turnovers that they can be.
For sure. Especially they just ruled Deontay Johnson out for the game, so that's just going to mean more contacts and targets for Claypool for sure. So lastly, overall keys for victory in Pittsburgh.
So overall, we've got 3 things that we really need to do here. First of all, it kind of goes to that finish them idea, but 60 minutes focus. Okay, we can't let down, we can't let off. It's got to be 60 minutes of focus and execution. If we can do that, we should win this one. Secondly, we got to win in the trenches. I think that's going to be where it's really pronounced in this game. We're going to, it's good on good. They've got a great defensive line. We've got a great offensive line. We've got a great defensive line, and they've got a really good offensive line. Although DeCastro is out, that's going to help us out. So if we can win those battles of the trenches, we should, in true AFC North style, we should win this one. And then that really leads into my third point here, which is we got to play that physical AFC North brand of football. Prove that we've arrived in this game, because if we can do that, we really can bring a lot of momentum forward in this game, or from this game. I think we're going to prove a lot of the doubters wrong if we manage to play that AFC North brand football and bring it to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Sure. That actually brings up a good question. Is there a way that the Browns can accomplish those things and have declared to the world that they have arrived without winning?
I think it's possible. I think even without winning this game, we could really show some really good things. Of course, that would need to be a very close game, potentially a game that they, put together a last-minute drive and kick like a 59-yarder or something like that. Right. But I think for the most part, a win really makes a statement. Potentially, you can still make that statement if it's a physical brand, a game where we really aren't giving up too much and they just beat us, especially with the injuries in the defensive backfield and some of the I've seen some places say the Browns are starting a second string team where they've got, and that's not entirely true. We still have playmakers. Sure. Myles Garrett isn't out. There's a bunch of guys that we have. Kareem Hunt should be a starter anywhere else. Right, just because Chubb is out doesn't mean that doesn't mean we don't have an excellent running game. So I think that we can make that statement even in a loss, but in a win for sure.
Be a lot more fun to make the statement in a win for sure. And again, Pittsburgh hadn't played anybody yet, right?
That's right.
Their combined opponents are what, 3-15-1 or something like that. So
that's
it's
right.
Time to find out if they're actually any good or not. So, all right. So we saw the sim yesterday. Per usual, Madden kind of hates us right now for whatever reason, and it's not going our way, but that's fine. 2-4 in the sim. Who knows? We could be 5-1 in real life, which I would obviously be okay with. So let's play a little bit over under. Yesterday in the sim, Baker had 30 pass attempts. So we've kind of talked about that sort of being like the perfect number, no more than that. So over under Baker, 30 pass attempts tomorrow.
So for that first key, maintaining the balance, I think 30 is the right number. I think we want to be right at 30 because ideally we're about 60 plays in a game. 30 is the right number to balance out the pass and the run. But I'm going to give us just over 30. I think we're going to hit like 31, 32.
Gotcha. All right, yesterday again in the sim, continuing to struggle to run the football. Actually, Baker, the leading rusher, was 60 yards on 5 scrambles. But so over under, they had 104 yards as a Browns offense rushing. Do you think we get over or under that as a team tomorrow?
I think we'll be over that. In particular, one of the things we've done really well is something that I think we can take advantage of against them. Although Bud Dupree is a great pass rusher, he is not actually great at the defensive stopping the run game. It's particularly contain and that pulling the guard and running that to the left side where Dupree will be. We potentially could have some big runs if we do it right and execute, especially if the O-line is having a game like they've had in these previous games. So I think we're probably looking over that. I think probably somewhere in the 120 to 150 range is pretty comfortable where I think we're going to end up at the end of this game.
That'd be great. And then the last one, not an over-under. Who has more turnovers that they are personally responsible? We saw Baker had 4 fumbles and 2 picks at the sim, which is ridiculous. But who has more turnovers they're personally responsible for, Baker or Ben?
It's got to be Big Ben. And not just because I want us to win, but I think because this is going to be a statement game specifically for Myles. I know the media has been making a huge deal out of everything he's got, which is just nonsense. But on the other hand, he's got a lot to come out here and just put it to bed. I think is going to be a big game for him. So I think his pressure is really going to be key to forcing some turnovers, and we could very well see another strip sack in this one.
Okay. Sim had it in 1917, an untimed down for a backdoor cover for the Browns, I think, who have 3.5 points. So if you're going to bet the points, right? So, but anyway, what's the official Nagy on Sports score prediction for tomorrow in Pittsburgh?
I think there's going to be a little bit more offense than that, but I don't think this is going to be quite the scoring explosion that we've seen. They do have a good defense. I think this one, the Browns are going to win 27-23.
27-23. You heard it here first, folks. That's the official prediction. So We appreciate you as always. Again, thank you so much to our subscribers. Well over 350 now, which is just awesome. We really appreciate it. Again, this stupid little summer project has now turned into something so much bigger than that. So we look forward to it every week. And until we meet again next time, we'll talk about it. But of course, go